Hi and welcome. This is Towns and Thieves. The genre is kind of new for a board game. It is a line defense as well as a map building and expansion game. There are two main stages of the game. You will have the world map, where you grow, expand your empire and mine the best resources. And then there are the Thieve Lanes. Here you try to send as many units as possible and the best units you can get, and they will steal the diamonds from your opponent. Towns and Thieves is made for 2 to 4 players. If you would like to see the detailed instruction, I will link it in the comments, and you will also find the information there how to customize the game and order a copy for you. The main purpose of this video is to give you an instruction and an idea how this game works. So let us do some unboxing and have a look inside. You find the castle in the box. That one is the indication or your main base of your empire. You will find diamonds. That's the main resource you need, and this is also the winning resource. You have units. Those units try to steal the diamonds. You have a lot of expansion buildings and buildings you can put on the map that will give you various bonuses. And you can play it as a 2, 3 or 4 player game. So you will find different colors in the game. And a small hint, you can also customize those colors on the homepage. We are now looking at the base plates. This is where the world map will be generated. Here you have the Thieve Lanes, where your units will travel and steal the diamonds from your opponent if there is no defense building. You also have several cards in the game. Some of those cards are just an indication of what you can do. Here you see the unit costs, the production building costs, defense buildings costs, and you can always do a trade. On the backside you will find the turn order, and during the course of the game you will play several times through this turn order. And the order is move units, build units, and you choose one of the main actions below. And in addition to the cards we saw before, you will find the cards that will be lying on the table. You choose from those cards the small number on top in which phase the card is played, and the bottom area shows the benefit you will gain. Those were the main important things in the box. When you start a new game, you want to set up the environment. This is the world you're going to settle in. At first, you grab 2 of those base plates, and here we assume a 2-player game, and you start like this. If you prefer a 3-player game, you take another plate and place it below the other plates. It's not so important if it's directly attached, a little offset, that is up to you. And for a 4-player game, we take another base plate and attach it evenly so it would look like this. Now each player grabs a mountain. The mountain is a connection element between base plates. The simple rule is you have to connect all the base plates. We take the role of player 1 and he's placing the mountain here between those 2 base plates. The second player connects the upper and the lower base plate, and the third player connects the bottom base plates, and the fourth player goes here. The orientation or where you place it on the connection line is totally up to you. Then each mountain gets 2 stacks of gold, and the gold is placed on each mountain tile. In a 2-player version, you would just have 2 base plates and again a mountain tile for each player. And our 2 players grab the mountains, place them in the intersection line to connect the 2 base plates. Again, the orientation is up to you, and 2 gold go on each mountain tile. Once this is done, we have a look on the quick guide. The quick guide is telling you how much wood, wheat and stone you will place on each layer. We start with layer 1. Each player grabs now the amount of wood, wheat and stone mentioned on the quick guide. This is what it looks like for player 1 and player 2. Each player is now starting to place the resources It is done simultaneously, and the resources are completely randomly placed. Take in mind, we just used the first layer and we are not going to stack the resources. In this way, you continue until all the resources are placed. Let's do a little fast forward. So there's only one rule to consider when you place the resources. No resource is allowed to have more than 4 neighbors. If you imagine to be one of the resource spots and start looking around, then you can have 4 neighbors, and the 5th and the 6th spot have to be empty. We continue until all the tiles are placed on the map. And in this way, you have a new world map you settle in. So once you play the game again, you will never face the same situation you faced before. If you now have a look on the quick guide again, you see that in layer 2 each player grabs the amount of wood, wheat and stone mentioned here on the guide. And this is what it looks like. The placement rules get even easier this time. You take a resource and place it on the second height of the same die. Stone on stone, wood on wood and wheat on wheat. All the players can place the tiles simultaneously. Like before, you continue until all the resources are placed. A little fast forward again. And we take the quick guide again, and you can already imagine what comes next. In the third layer, you take the amount of wood and stone mentioned on the quick guide. And each resource is placed on the map again. Like the rules before, you just take the third layer and you match the same resource type. You are now nearly done with generating the world you are going to settle in. You still grow the last trees and increase the stone piles. Each player now takes a castle. And the castle is your home base and it's representing your complete empire. You will build production buildings. That is indicated in the upper area of your castle. You will have ground units, air units, a demolishing unit, a unit that can carry and steal more diamonds, and a bigger demolishing unit. On the bottom area, you will find your treasure room where you keep your diamonds. The 2 fields left from the treasure room, the wood and the wheat indicator, show you your base income. Grab one of the resources from the stash, like a wood and a wheat here, and place it on your castle. That is indicating what you earn each turn once you decide to use the mining action. Each player takes the amount of diamonds mentioned in the quick guide, and you take the Thieve Lanes and place them next to the board. On the Thieve Lanes, your units will approach the opponent's castle, and you will also see a lot of units coming in your direction. The Thieve Lane has a side with numbers on it and a side for the defense. On the side of the purple's player, the player is orienting the numbers to him and defense is oriented to the orange player. On the left hand side, the defense lane is rotated, so the orange player is seeing the numbers where he can spawn his units and the purple player is defending. Each player is taking a card showing the turn order, and on the other side of the card you will see the cost for the production buildings or the units. Here's a quick overview about the housings and the update buildings. You grab all the buildings belonging to your empire and place them next to your castle. The small ones are the villages where you start your empire. Next to the town you also have improvement buildings, like the one you see here, a sawmill that gives your whole empire a production bonus. In the later game, you will also have a city and you might even grow it to a capital. We placed them here already in the right order. A small village can grow to a city and might even grow to a capital. Next to it, you'll find here a lot of improvement buildings that give your whole empire a bonus once they are built. Let us talk about the placement of your buildings, especially here the village on the map. So you have the whole world in front of you and you have to find a good spot where you want to grow from. Right at the start of the game, your empire is just able to produce wood and wheat. That is also the resource that is indicated on your castle. So the next thing you have to consider, you want to grow from that village. So a place where you can also expand via streets is really helpful. Let us pick this spot here. Orange now has access to stone, wood, and gold. Like we just learned, right now at the beginning, he can just mine the wood that also his castle can produce. And the other resources come later with an improvement building, a gold mine or a stonemason. It is up to you to decide which player places his village first. I would recommend the player who least often played Towns and Thieves. Purple here takes a spot where he has access to wheat, wood, and later on also stone. Let us familiarize ourselves a little with the cards. The game happens in 3 phases. This is shown in the top left corner of the card. You start by putting piles together and separating the cards according its phase. You find as well guild cards, but we leave the guild cards for later. If you would like to give that a try, have a look in the detailed instruction and there you find the guild cards explained. We take the cards from game phase 1 and shuffle them. This will be our draw pile. And we do the same for the phase 2 and 3 cards. A little fast forward. And we take the cards from age number 3 and age 2 and put them to the side of the game. We don't need them quite yet. Take 3 cards from the draw pile and turn them face up. Let us take the wood here. On the top right corner, you would find the cost to purchase a card. Here this one is having no cost, it is free for the taking. In game phase 1, you would take the amount of wood you can read on the card, and in phase 2 and 3, the card gets more worthy. Similar is here for the wheat. You also don't have any purchasing cost, and according its phase, you get a different amount of wheat. A little special is the stonemason. This time we have to pay 2 wood to purchase the card, and then it improves your empire. Your whole empire can now work stone. Those were the cards. But what do we do with it? We want to expand on the map, and we want to start getting richer to build our units. And we have to consider a few things when placing new buildings and growing our empire. For example, if we would like to expand via a new village. The village has to be placed not directly next to a village or another city. You always have to at least 1 hex free. So there has to be placed a street to connect the next village. If you ask yourself, how do you build streets? You find this one on the turn order sheet. Under option C, build up to 2 streets. Now that we had a first look in the turn order, let us go through the options you have in the game. The first option you have is move all units. Units will spawn on the Thieve Lane, and you move each unit on the Thieve Lane 1 field forward. Your next option is build units and or 1 ground or air defense building. To build a unit, you have to have the according production building. Once you have the production building, the costs for a unit are mentioned on the backside of your turn order card. And you can also erect 1 defense building per turn. The costs are also shown on the backside of the turn order card. The next big block is what you can call your main phase. Here you have an option. You can take one of the things to choose from: A, B, C, or D. Build a production building is A. A production building costs, like here on the right hand side, you see 4 wood. If you would have 4 wood in the stash, you remove them, build the production building, and that one is indicated on your castle via one of the black markers. Orange is grabbing one of the production markers and placing it here. He can either build one of the small wagons as a production building or a small balloon. He's deciding to choose the small balloon. From now on, each time he passes in his turn order the build units, he can spawn one of the balloons. Okay, what is next? B. Pay 1 wheat and cycle up to 2 cards. This is repeatable and an optional move. In case you want to keep your opponent from one of the cards, or there is another card in the draw pile that is not visible and you really need it, you have the option to cycle through their open lying cards. And then you decide to choose one of the cards and build and play that card. Here the player is going to cycle cards. 2 cards are removed, 2 new ones are opened. And we have a village here. 2 wood, cost for the village. And the village itself has 1 hex mining range. We keep in mind directly placing the village is not an option for orange right now. He has to have 1 hex distance and there's a street missing right now. The just cycled cards will be put to the discard pile. Once you cycled cards, you always have to do the next option, buy and play a card. So keep in mind to have some resources. If you're missing the resources, your turn is over here. Option C, build up to 2 streets. That is what we need to grow from one village to another. And how is it done? You most probably take 2 of the streets. You can also take 1 if you like. And you place it directly attached to a village. Whatever you place, everything has to be attached directly to a village except another village. So here the player decides to go to the right hand side and places those 2 streets along each other. He can build as many streets as he likes. It just costs him 1 turn. Let us switch the perspective for now, and we say we now play for the purple player. He's going through his turn order. He's moving all units, but there are not yet any units to move. So this one is over fast. He checks if he has any production buildings and the resources for it. So he could spawn units, but neither is the case right now. He needs production buildings first. He could build up to 2 streets or do the mining operation. He decides to do the mining operation. So he's looking from his village. Each village has 1 hex mining range. So he has access to the wheat and the wood here. Stone is not yet able to be mined. He needs a stonemason at first. So he's grabbing the wood and then what his castle produces. His castle is producing right now 1 wood and 1 wheat. So he's also grabbing those from the general stash and putting it to his own stash. And we switch back to the orange player. He's again going through the turn order. Move units, again he has no units, not an option yet. Build units and defense buildings. He is definitely needing resources. So he goes in the main phase for the option D, mining. The only resource he can mine right now is wood, since the other ones, there are missing improvement buildings. And his castle is producing a wood and a wheat, so he's also grabbing those from the general stash again. So he's taking the last option on his turn order sheet. It is the purple player's turn again. The purple player would like to buy and play a card. So what do we have lying open? Stonemason, village and farm. He has to have the resources for it. Here the village would cost 2 wood. He has the resources, but the streets are missing. He can't put a village next to another village. He could go for the stonemason. That is important to erect defense buildings. And why not? He has 2 wood. He's taking the wood from his stash, putting it to the general stash, and going for the stonemason. He's grabbing the card and looking to find this card in his inventory, this building in his inventory. Here we go. There's the same picture, the stonemason in the 3D. And he's placing this one directly next to one of his towns. He's deciding to place it here. Now all his villages are able to mine stone. It is not just an option for this one village. And we open a new card. In this case, you find the sawmill. The sawmill will increase your wood production by 1. That looks like a good choice for our orange player. He has the 2 wood in his stash, so he can pay for the card. And he will do that. So he removes his 2 resources and he's playing the card sawmill. He's grabbing the card and will put it then to the discard pile. But at first he looks for the building. Here is it again in 3D. And he has to place it on his last free spot. He has to place it directly attached to a village. But there's just one option where to place it. And now the village has no free hacks anymore, so he has no place for another improvement building. He has to mine wood at first or build another village. We open the new card, and it's the purple player's turn. We skip move all units, build all units. You already know that that is not an option right now for the player. And he's deciding to do the mining operation since he needs resources. And he's grabbing the one wood his village is mining, as well as what his castle is producing. Another wood and another wheat. And we go for the orange player again. He's also not having resources right now, so he's directly going for the mining operation. This time his castle, since he has the sawmilling improvement, is producing 2 wood and 1 wheat. And his village is grabbing the last resource he has access to, that is the wood. Now we fast forward a lot, since you're familiar now with all the basic rules. And let's see how do we get to the second phase of the game. This is once a player, like here the orange player, is placing his 3rd village. That is the trigger for our phase 2. Now the empire has grown a lot, and we grab all the cards from phase 2 and mix them together with the cards from phase 1. Again, we shuffle, and with this you get your new draw pile. And then it works exactly like it worked before. You turn a few cards face up, and this time in the second age, we turn 4 cards face up, not just 3. And here you opened a city. This one is improvement of a village and a gold mine. We continue until 4 cards are lying open, and the rest of the cards will be our new draw pile. Again, we are going to speed up a little and jump out of the standard turn order, but I would like to show you how the production buildings and the Thieve Lanes work. Here, let's say the purple player is having enough wood to erect one of the buildings, the production buildings, and he is placing the tile marker for a small wagon. From now on, each time it is his turn, he can produce 1 small wagon. And it works like this. He's paying for the small wagon. You find the costs under units on your backside of the turn order card. Then he's rolling a dice and placing the unit on the Thieve Lane where he can attack the opponent's castle. Next time it is his turn, he can move all his units, in this case the small wagon, 1 place forward. And again afterwards, build units. He's deciding to do that, paying 1 wheat, rolling the dice, getting a 4, and placing his next small wagon on the lane number 4. We now talked about the units, how to spawn them, and how to attack the opponent's castle. But let's do some fast forward and say the orange player has enough resources to build a defense building. We assume he has 2 stone and 1 wood in his stash, so he decides to build a wall defense. He can choose the lane freely where he would like to erect the defense building, and he's going here for the wall, for the defense building on lane number 4. And all the ground units now on lane 4 will be directly removed. Except if there's a dynamite, the dynamite can continue to walk forward. We move to the purple player again. He's moving his units forward. Say the orange player is not managing to get enough stone for a defense building, and the small wagon is entering the castle here. That happens when the first lane of defense is reached. He's then grabbing a diamond and putting it from the orange player's stash to the purple player's stash. So this is how you grab the diamonds from your opponent. And once a player reaches 0 diamonds, the other player wins. It works similar in a 3 or 4 person player game. Once a player has no diamonds left, the game is over, and the player's win order is then according to the diamonds in their stash. What can we do against defense buildings? Here the purple player is spawning a dynamite. Of course, he has to have the production building at first. And once the dynamite is reaching the defense, it will explode and destroy the defense building, here the wall defense. In case the first building in this line should be the air defense, it's destroying the air defense. But it is just destroying the first defense building in this line. Currently, you see only villages on the map. If you have enough resources to take the card city, that one increases a village to a city. So you remove the village and replace it by the city building. It's the same building you will also find on the card. And if one player is managing to do this one the second time in the game, and you have 2 cities on the map, you start to enter the third phase of the game. It works similar like before. When you entered from phase 1 to phase 2, you take all the outlying cards, the draw pile, and mix it together with the cards from phase 3 that you had prepared next to the game. Once everything is mixed, you now have the speciality that you open 5 cards, not just 4 like in the phase before. Here we opened an improved balloon. It's a card costing gold, so quite hard to get. And a large dynamite, also costing gold. The large dynamite, for example, is a production building, a ground unit production building, costing 3 gold. And if you erect this building, you take an indication marker and place it on your castle, like you did it here for the balloon or for the small wagon. And from now on, you can spawn large dynamites. And the large dynamites are demolishing also the ground or air defense buildings, the first ones they approach, on the Thieve Lanes left and right to the dynamite. So it's quite a potent unit. Here's a game scenario where the orange player is spawning units, a small wagon, a large balloon, and a small dynamite. Of course, he needs the production buildings at first to do so, and he has to have all the resources in his stash. If orange player starts his turn, he has the option to move all his units, and he's doing so. All the units go 1 step forward. He's then deciding to build 2 new units. He's having the resources for a small wagon, and he's also producing a large balloon. Now we assume the player is rolling 2 times a 3. The first spot is already taken by the small wing, so the balloon is even placed in front of everything that you find in lane 3. So it gives the player an advantage, and you approach the castle of purple way earlier. The game gives you several tactical options how to steal those diamonds. You could go for a rush tactic and try to spawn the units as fast as possible. Or you might go for a big empire that has the resources for good defense and can spawn the large units that will steal more diamonds. I am pretty sure you are now ready to play your first round of Towns and Thieves. If you would like to give it a try and order one of the copies, I will link the homepage below, and there you find an email address where you can order the game. You can even individualize the game by choosing player colors to your liking. On the selection page of the homepage, choose your favorite color and just let me know in the email which color you prefer. Please take in mind that it is a handcrafted game, so it takes a lot of time to produce the game cards, and it might take some time to get a copy ready for you. Of course, feedback is always appreciated, and with that I wish you a good time and talk to you soon.